recently bought this 2015 Honda CRF250X, and in this video I'm going to tell you what I think after my first couple of hours on the bike. The CRF250X is the off-road version of the CRF250R, but since the X model hasn't been dramatically updated since the mid-2000s, this is a vastly different bike than, say, a 2015 CRF250R. The CRF250X was made from around 2004 through 2016. The most notable difference from the R models is that this 2015 X model is still carbureted, not fuel injected. The R model got fuel injection around 2010. Other differences that make it more suitable for off-road riding include an 18-inch rear wheel, softer suspension, a wide ratio transmission, even though it's still a 5-speed, front and rear lights, electric start, and a kickstand. I purchased this bike in late 2019. I found it in someone's garage after it had been sitting for a few years, and by the looks of it, it spent more time applying stickers than actually riding the bike. It wasn't running because the carb was all gunked up, but I could tell that it hadn't been ridden very much. It still had the original tires, original chain and sprockets, and there were no real scuffs or scratches on the engine cases from boots, etc. I made some pretty significant changes and upgrades before I ever rode it because the bike needed some work just to get it running. I had to remove the carburetor to thoroughly clean out the gunk, so it made sense to go ahead and install JD Jet Kit and a Works Connection externally adjustable pilot screw. I removed the airbox snorkel, cut open the top section of the airbox, and tossed that giant factory silencer in favor of an FMF PowerCore 4. These changes allowed me to take full advantage of the new jetting and get the bike to perform like it should. In addition, I added a skid plate and got rid of that ugly trip odometer that looked like it was from the 80s. Mainly because the cable was routed very poorly and looked like something that would eventually get ripped off by a branch or a rock. I tossed those old fork guards for some new black ones. The bike had 5-year-old tires, so I upgraded the rear tire to a 110-118 Dunlop MX52. I stayed with the stock size on the front and put a Dunlop MX33 there with ultra heavy duty 4mm Michelin tubes both front and rear. Some handguards and ODI Road lock-on grips round out the list of upgrades I've made so far. The first thing I noticed when I hopped on the trail for the first time is that the bars are much closer to the rider than I'm accustomed to. The triple clamps don't have multiple mounting positions, so I'm going to have to get some new mounts and probably upgrade to 1 1/8 bars when I do that. I rolled the bars forward in the mounts a little bit and made it work for this ride. The next thing I noticed is that the stock seat is really good. Compared to the stock seats on the KTM and Husqvarna in my garage, this seat is very comfortable and Honda got it right. It's nice to have a good seat on those all-day rides. The Showa suspension feels really good to me, and from a valving standpoint it feels similar to other enduro bikes I've ridden. It's soft, but it feels about right for my riding style. I'm about 175 pounds and I think I'm probably at the upper limit for what the bike is set up for stock, so if you're heavier you may need to consider valving and spring changes. The chassis is a carryover from early 2000 CRF250R with some minor changes. It turns well and seems well balanced. It doesn't feel heavy like some other 4-strokes do in turns. The riding position is a little cramped for my liking and the bars need to be farther forward like I mentioned before, but that's a personal preference. The foot pegs are small and seem somewhat light duty. Most serious off-roaders will want to upgrade the foot pegs. The engine cranks easily and typically doesn't need to choke after the jetting changes I made. It has very linear power across the RPM range, and I didn't notice any considerable vibration. It has electric start and a kickstart. The downside is that it's not fuel injected, but the Kian FCR carb has a throttle position sensor and accelerator pump that works well to provide good acceleration and good throttle response. Since it's carbureted, it doesn't stall as easy as most fuel injected 4-strokes. The power feels similar to other 4-stroke 250s I've ridden, following the airbox mod, exhaust, and jetting changes I made. It's plenty of power for most people and enough power for almost anything you want to do with a bike. The transmission is a 5-speed, wide ratio transmission. 6-speed wide ratios are more popular on similar bikes, but this transmission seems well spaced for the type of riding that I do. If you're riding a lot of wide open forest roads, you may need to change your final gearing for more comfortable cruising. The transmission shifts smoothly and neutral is easy to find, but I never accidentally hit neutral going from first to second or vice versa. The clutch has really good feel and the easiest pull of any cable operated clutch that I've used. During this first ride, I took it on some open trails as well as some tight single track. The bike seemed to handle it all with ease. If you're considering a CRF250X, I would definitely plan on opening up the airbox, exhaust, and jetting the car. Otherwise, these bikes run really lean with factory settings. A skid plate and good tires are other critical upgrades from the stock setup. Overall, I think this is a great bike for trail riding and maybe even for hare scrambles or enduros. I may ride this bike in a race in 2020 just to see how it compares to my KTM 250 XCW. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. I'm going to leave you with some additional riding video on the bike and some nice single track. I always read your comments and try to respond to most, so let me know if you've ridden one of these bikes and how you liked it. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and stay tuned to the channel for more CRF 250X videos. Thanks for watching.